Hey guys, welcome to today's lesson. I'm going to show you how you can pretty much learn any jazz standard with just a couple of chords, okay, and a little bit of knowledge. All you really need to know for today's lesson is the names of the notes on the 6th string and the 5th string. If you don't know that, I've got you covered. Take a screenshot of this, and away you go. Also, you can jump onto my Patreon. If you're not a member, you can join for just a couple of bucks a month. There's tons of material and I'm always uploading more, but you can grab the notes for this particular lesson that might give you a little bit of a hand. I'll have the charts and everything for the chords that I show you today. So I've broken down all the chords that we're going to learn into just a couple of categories. We've got a major chord, a dominant 7 chord, a minor 7 chord, and a half diminished and a diminished chord. We see less of those, but we certainly want to make sure we have something in which to tackle them with. So what I'm going to do, I'll show you a chord from G being a root 6 chord, which just means it starts on the 6th string, and I'll show you chords from C being the root 5, and I'll also show you, for example, if we play a C chord here, we can play it up here, and that's the difference between a root 5 version of a C or a root 6 version of a C. Okay, and hopefully with that knowledge, by looking at a chart, like a program like iReal or something, or a real book, you'll be able to tackle those chords with something. You'll have something to tackle those chords with. So the first chord we're going to do today is a major chord. Whenever I see a major chord, I generally go for this. So we're going to play a G6 here, okay, and that's the 3rd fret on the 6th string, 2nd fret on the 4th string, and the 4th fret on the 3rd string. I'm blocking the 5th string, so we get a deadened note like that. Okay, and that's if I saw a G major 7, a G6, okay, anything like that, I'll play that. You could play a major 7. All you have to do to make that a major 7, take my 3rd finger, place it there on the 4th string on the 4th fret, bang, that's your major chord covered, okay? So obviously if we see an A major 7, we could play that here, or an A6, or if it just says A major, I'd probably just play an A6, okay, because they just sound really nice for that style, okay? Now, the root 5 equivalent, so I'm going to play from a C. We could play from a G as well, just to see the equivalent of G, but I'm just going to show you straight across here from a C chord. If I saw a C major, I could use a C6-9 like this. I really like this one, okay? It gives you that really old-fashioned swing sound. So that's 3rd fret on the 5th string, 2nd fret on the 4th string, 2nd fret on the 3rd string, and 3rd fret on the 2nd string. We can actually drop the 5th string and play the 6th string instead. We get that lovely lush sound. And that is a 6-9 chord, and that is what I would probably use if I saw a C major. Because a C major itself, or even just a G major, they're not going to sound like jazz and swing. They just weren't used a lot like that. So there were contexts, but we're going to keep it simple today. Alright, so that's what I would do for a C major chord. If we want to make it a major 7, we could use this voicing. I'm not the biggest fan of this one. It sounds a little obvious to me, but I'll give it to you nonetheless, because there's going to be times it's going to work better. Like, for example, if we were doing Girl from Ipanema, definitely works. So for a major 7 chord, you could also do this from the 5th string. C, G, B, and E. So 3rd, 5th, 4th, and 5th. Okay, and so there's a couple options there for major chords. Now the next one's going to be dominant 7 type chords. For example, if it says G7, G9, G13, it doesn't matter what that number is. If that number is a 7 or higher, okay, a 7 or higher, so for example, like I said, G7, you don't have to worry about whether it says 13 or 11. It doesn't matter. If it has the letter, the root note of the chord, so for example G, and then nothing in between it like minor, major, or anything, it just has the number, we're generally going to be playing some kind of dominant chord. And today all I'm going to tell you to do is just play a basic dominant 7 chord. Also might say G dominant 7, but often you won't see the dom, okay? They just drop that. I don't know why, it's just the way it is. So we're just going to use this simple shell voicing. 3rd fret on the 6th string, 3rd fret on the 4th string, 4th fret on the 3rd string. Okay, real easy one, that one. And then the root 5 equivalent of this, if we did it from C, is just going to look like this. So we've got C, E, and B flat, just like that. Just like a C7 you might have learnt before. But what we're going to do, we'll play that with my second finger. Well, I'll play it with my second finger, you use your second finger. Second finger there, first finger there, third finger there, okay? And we're going to let go of the C and play the G in the bottom instead. And that's a really lovely way to play a C dominant 7 or C7. Again, covering anything like a C13, C11, C9. You don't have to worry about that. You can just use the stock 7 chord, okay? So I'm actually playing a C7 chord without a C there. I know that sounds a little bit weird. Doesn't seem to make sense. You're probably thinking, Adrian, it looks like you're playing some kind of G chord now, but trust me, your ears will know when you're singing along with that melody that is obviously the reason you wanted to learn these chords. If I was to play the G equivalent, like actually play a G7, it would just be all the way up here because our G's here as a root 5 or 5th string type chord. So we'd actually not be playing G, we'd be playing the D like that. If you like, you can always just play that root note too. You can go G7 there, G7 there, or G7 there, and if we were playing a C7, just like that. So that's the dominant 7 chord. Now for a minor 7 chord, this one's a little easier even really. 3rd fret on the 6th string. Again, we're skipping that 5th string. Okay, we just mute it. Same with that last chord, I hope I said that. 3rd fret on the 4th string, pinky on 3rd fret of the 3rd string. Okay, it's just a flat shape. 3, blocked, 3, 3. Alright. And then to play a minor 7, and again, if it says minor 9 or anything fancy, just ignore it. Just play a minor 7, keep it tight. And yeah, it's going to work. So to play a root 5 minor chord, okay, so let's say we're playing a chart and it has a G minor and then it has a C minor. We could go all the way up to C here and play a C minor like that, no problem. But you want to be a bit more efficient, you might do this. G minor like this. Then if we saw a C minor, we might do this one. So this is a C minor 7. 3rd fret, 5th fret, okay, on the 4th string, 3rd fret on the 3rd string by barring, 2nd finger on the 4th fret of the 2nd string, just like that. Okay, so that's a minor 7. Now, some people will say that that's not a particularly jazzy voicing. They're wrong. I actually have had a really good look at the stuff that Eddie Lang, Django Reinhardt, and all those guys were doing. They did favour that chord. It did get used plenty. A lot of people, don't believe you can do anything that doesn't have a muted 5th string for old swing and jazz, but it's not true. So learn that one. That's a good one. Again, if I was playing a G minor 7 as that kind of chord, it would be way up here at the 10th fret because that's where our G is on the 5th string. Okay, so it's G minor 7. Okay, so that's the minor 7 chord. Now we're going to cover the half diminished. The good news is with a half diminished chord, we wouldn't actually need to change anything when we do our root 6 chord. You can use that chord, okay, but if you want it to have the flat 5 in it, we would add this note up here on the 2nd string. Okay, so it's a little bit of a tricky one. So that's why you'd have to use your 2nd finger. If you use your 1st finger, you run out of options. 2nd finger on the 3rd fret, 3rd finger on the 3rd fret, pinky on the 3rd fret. We skip the 5th string, by the way. 1st finger on the 2nd string, 2nd fret, just like that. Okay, so that's a half diminished chord, guys, also known as a minor 7 flat 5. Okay, that's one example where you might want to approach it, with the specifics. But like I said, if you don't play that note, that's still going to work over a minor 7 flat 5, no problems. When we do a root 5 version, though, if we want to play this particular chord from the 5th string, this one will run us into trouble. But there's 2 ways we can tackle this. If you don't want to worry about capturing the flat 5, we just want to play the minor 7 part of it. Just when you see this note here, don't play this one. We can do it like this. 1st finger on the 5th string, 2nd finger on the 3rd string, 3rd fret, 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the 2nd string. Because the 5, the 5th degree of the chord, is here. So we would actually need to play that note to get the flat 5. So if we skip that string, we don't need it, and it's just a little workaround, okay, of that issue. If you want to play a flat 5, you want to actually get the minor 7 flat 5, aka half diminished, just a reminder of that, we would go 3rd fret, 4th fret, 3rd fret, 4th fret, Okay, so I'm actually using all my fingers here. First finger there, third finger there, second finger on the third fret of the third string, fourth finger on the fourth fret of the second string, just like that. Okay, so also you can bar right across the third fret. Put your second finger on the bar across the third fret. I think I might have said that right. Second finger on the fourth fret and third finger on the fourth fret of the second string. A little trickier. Try not to hit the first string like I just did. So that's the half diminished. We've got one chord left, guys. It's the diminished chord. Now, if you want to play a diminished chord from a root 6, funnily enough, we already played it before, but we played it as a different chord. And this is very confusing, so I don't want you to worry about the details too much. But given that we're playing a G diminished right now, we're thinking of a G diminished. If we play this note here, and then we play the second fret on the fourth string, and then the third fret on the third string, that is a G diminished. Before, when we treated this as a C chord, we were actually playing a C7, but when we consider this as our root note, this is actually works as a G7. So you kind of already learnt that shape before, believe it or not. You're getting to reuse it, which is really cool. So that's a G diminished chord, guys, and obviously we can move that around. Now, if we wanted to do a root 5 version of this, so a C-type chord, that would look like this. And this one's probably the most complicated one of them all. Second finger on the third fret. Okay, that's our C. The G flat there is played with our third finger. My first finger plays the A there, the second fret of the third string. And my pinky plays the fourth fret. So that's the difference between a -7 flat 5 or a half diminished and a regular diminished, or we might know it as a full diminished. A half diminished will look like that, whereas in a full diminished will be like this. Okay, and you do see that chord sometimes, so worth practicing and adding to the repertoire. So if I played that as a G chord, by the way, that would have been like this. Okay, so for example, that's everything, but I should mention that. That's all the chords, guys. So a quick example, if you look at a chart and it has a G major 6, or a G major, whatever it says. There we go. Then it might say C major 7. So you could play a C major 7, or you could use the C6 9, the C6 9, or use it that way where we drop that. So we might go 1, 2, 3, then it changes to the C. Then it might say C sharp diminished. Then it might say G. Then it might say E7. So I'm going to play an E7 here, but I'm going to drop the E and put it there. Then it might have an A minor 7. Then a D7. And then we're back to G. Okay? That's just a really short example, but that's the kind of thing that you're going to come up against. Of course, there's probably going to be exceptions. There's slash chords and things like that. But for a lot of standards, especially older standards, this should have you covered. Guys, if you have any questions, fire away in the comments. I hope you enjoyed that. I really enjoyed making it. And check out my other videos. I've got a whole list of chord and jazz lesson ones, so check them out and maybe try learning a couple of those, and everything will make a little bit more sense, hopefully. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.